After marrying the man I'd secretly loved for 10 years, our relationship was polite but distant. On our 5th wedding anniversary, he left me to pick up his unforgettable first love from the airport. When he returned, I tactfully handed him the divorce papers. To my surprise, the man who was always calm and composed panicked. "I haven't done anything to wrong you. Why do you want a divorce?" On the day of our 5th anniversary, I was waiting downstairs at my office for my husband, Liam, to pick me up. I found myself reapplying my makeup with a cushion foundation almost every 5 minutes, terrified that when Liam arrived, he would see the exhaustion of a long workday on my face. I forget when I started to become so preoccupied with my appearance. My old classmates used to call me a tomboy. The weather was bad today, with thunder rumbling in the distance. I stood downstairs in a thin dress, staring into the distance for a long time. Even after the last colleague working overtime had left, I still hadn't seen Liam. Countless hopeful glances ended only in disappointment. It wasn't the first time, but I still wasn't used to it. When I picked up my phone, I still felt a pang of embarrassment. My hand trembled as I tapped on Liam's contact. He answered on the second try. "I forgot to tell you, I'm working overtime tonight. I can't come get you." Before I could even say, "Today is our 5th wedding anniversary," he hung up. I stared forlornly at the disconnected call as a downpour began, splashing my dress. In previous years, no matter how busy he was, he would always come for me. Although our marriage was more respectful than passionate, he never deprived me of the things I was due. Whatever other wives had, I had too. Except for one person. Liam is an architect. He works overtime 6 out of 7 days a week. I always told myself that as a wife, I should be understanding. In the end, I opened my umbrella and walked home alone. My carefully applied makeup was a mess, and my specially chosen dress was splattered with mud. I was greeted by a silent, empty home. I sighed, forcing myself to accept it. I took a bath as usual and went to bed without eating. And just like that, our anniversary passed. The next morning, I was woken by the sound of the shower and the washing machine. As I sat up, I saw Liam walk out of the bathroom with a towel wrapped around his waist. A flicker of panic crossed his face when he saw I was awake. I didn't want to investigate the reason for his panic. I could only ignore it. I rubbed my eyes, my voice hoarse. "You did your own laundry." Liam grunted an affirmation and turned his back to me to get dressed. "I was at the construction site last night. My clothes were filthy." Then, uncharacteristically, he went to the kitchen. He never mentioned standing me up yesterday. A wave of disappointment washed over me. This marriage was a consolation prize to begin with. What was I even hoping for? Liam and I were childhood friends. It was a storybook beginning, except I was cast in the role of the devoted follower. Since we were kids, I loved to orbit around him. Anyone else would have been annoyed long ago, but Liam had endless patience. In my heart, Liam, the big brother next door, was the epitome of reliable. Whenever something happened, my first instinct wasn't to find my parents, but to find Liam. Sprained an ankle, find Liam. Scraped a knee, find Liam. Even when I got my first period and was lost and terrified, I went to find Liam. Falling for Liam was as easy as breathing, but I never dared to say it. Only stealing a few more glances, lingering for a few more words. This crush came to an abrupt halt when Liam started dating Bella. Bella was a transfer student. With her stunning looks and graceful personality, she instantly became the dream girl for countless boys. She was a fiery rose, brave enough to declare her love out loud. I envied her for that, and I couldn't help but feel inadequate. I was floored when she confessed her feelings for Liam in front of the entire school. At that time, she and Liam were seniors, and I was a freshman, a little country bumpkin fresh out of middle school. I thought to myself, so this is another way to love someone. The passionate and uninhibited Bella made me pull back the hand that wanted to reach for Liam. Driven by my insecurity, I suppressed my feelings. I read a sour quote somewhere. Loving yourself is the prerequisite for a good life. Perhaps it comforted me. I started working hard to improve my grades, to better myself, inside and out. I wasn't trying to break up Liam and Bella. I just didn't want my defeat to be so pathetic. I never expected that Bella would later go abroad. The news of her breakup with Liam spread like wildfire through the school, and the girls once again began to dream of a future with him. I was one of them. I imagined that Liam and I would follow the classic childhood sweetheart script. He would always be the doting older brother who watched me grow up, and I would be the grown-up little sister he could rely on. We would love and cherish each other, eventually walking down the aisle. But I never thought the beginning of my story with Liam would be so sudden, and so absurd. He confessed to me while he was drunk. I knew he was still in love with Bella, that he would probably think of her for years to come. But I consciously chose to fall, because I naively believed that time would fade his feelings for her, as I wished. Liam and I eventually got married, and so it has been for 5 years. Liam rarely entered the kitchen after we married. The few times he did, he would cook a meal, and we would sit at the table, him talking about work, which gave me the feeling of a long, married couple. Every time I thought of it, I felt happy. My best friend said I was a hopeless case, but what was wrong with that? That's what I thought for the past few years. Now, watching Liam cook in the kitchen, a ray of sunlight hit his face, making his features look even more sculpted and handsome. But there was an unshakable distance between us. He glanced at me and said, "Hungry? Just a little longer. It's almost ready." After a long pause, his voice came again. "Yesterday. I'm sorry. Something urgent came up. I forgot." The noodles he made were delicious, but I ate very slowly. Even though it was still early, he ate quickly, as if he couldn't sit still any longer, rushing to get somewhere. He finished in a hurry, and after a few brief words, he left for the office. I stood on the balcony, watching his car drive away, a sense of desolation in my heart. His freshly washed clothes were still hanging on the line. Perhaps it was a woman's intuition, but I went to inspect them. On the collar, there was a faint red mark. Liam had never done housework, so naturally, he wouldn't know that a washing machine can't get stains out of a spot like that. Red made me think of lipstick. Whose lipstick? Liam hated it when I got neurotic and questioned him about everything. I remember when he first started working, he had a company dinner. He came back completely drunk. He didn't even realize a female colleague had helped him home, and he was slinging his arm around her shoulder like she was one of the guys. He was completely open about it, but when my eyes met that woman's, my thoughts spiraled. My intense possessiveness over Liam forced me to check his phone. He saw me midway and mumbled, "Why are you like all the other women? So annoying." That casual remark froze me. A wave of shame washed over me. I dropped his phone like a hot potato. The next day, when he was sober, he saw my expression and asked, "What's wrong? Didn't you sleep well?" "No, I had insomnia." He stood there, thinking for a long time, remembering fragments. He explained, "I drank too much last night. Everyone was toasting me. That colleague, Laura, is famously helpful. Don't overthink it. It's impossible." Right, it's impossible. I already knew that. Why get hung up on it? But this time, I didn't want to retreat and lick my wounds alone. To test my theory, I took the day off work and brought a homemade lunch to Liam's office. I used to come here often, so the security guard knew me. He was shocked to see me. "Clara, bringing your husband lunch." But he didn't even come to work today. I clutched the lunchbox tighter and forced a smile. "Oh, Uncle, do you know where he went? He's not answering my messages." Not answering messages was standard for Liam. If he replied to 1 out of 10 of my texts, I'd be happy for a long time. Looking back on it now, I just feel pathetic. I saw him and a few of his close friends buy a bunch of flowers and snacks. Looked like they were going to the hospital to see someone. The guard said, pointing to the central hospital nearby, "That's the one. You can probably find him there." I thanked him and walked towards the hospital. It was only a few hundred meters away, but along the way, I imagined many scenarios. Who were they visiting? A few names came to mind, but I couldn't bring myself to settle on one. I tried to calm myself down. Maybe they were just visiting a friend, but I never, ever expected them to be visiting Bella. That was all it took. One name, and that familiar face, was enough to defeat me. Too many, so that's wise, were left unspoken, even though I had prepared myself. When the day finally came, I realized I had overestimated my own strength. I don't know how long it's been since I saw such a worried expression on Liam's face. He kept looking up at the red light above the operating room, his usually neat hair now a mess. I spied on them like a clown, spying on this raw, real side of Liam. The Liam I knew seemed like a bad actor trying his best to fit into a role, but the man waiting outside Bella's operating room was a real person. The huge contrast hit me, and I struggled to breathe. After composing myself for a while, I went to a nearby stairwell and called him. He only picked up as the phone was about to stop ringing. "What is it now?" "I'm in a meeting." His voice was impatient, and his excuse was terrible. In a meeting, was his go-to excuse, one he never tired of, and I had believed him every single time before. "I made you lunch. I can bring it over." Liam refused without a second thought. "No need. You have to work too, don't you?" "I wasn't feeling well today, so I took the day off." "Don't trouble yourself. I'll eat at the cafeteria with my colleagues." "I have to go." With Bella's life on the line, of course he wouldn't hear my not feeling well. My parents were against my marriage to Liam from the start, but I was stubborn. The night before the wedding, my father looked at me with disappointment. "If you suffer after you're married, don't come crying to your mother and me." My mother suppressed sobs, my father turning away, his eyes red. I understood it all. They were heartbroken for me, but I was like a gambler, determined to risk it all, with a do or die attitude. I walked this path to this very day. I gave the lunchbox to a nurse and asked her to pass it to Liam. Then I went home and started packing. Not long after, Liam came back. He saw me packing and a look of panic crossed his face. "Where are you going?" I didn't understand why he was panicking. Was it because he felt he was losing a wife he got for free, or something else? It gave me a headache. I couldn't be bothered to think about it anymore. I just focused on packing, not looking at him. Away, far away, where I'll never see you and Bella again. Let's get a divorce. Saying those two words felt like a huge weight had been lifted. It wasn't as hard as I thought. The tightness in my chest began to dissipate. Hearing this, Liam knelt down and grabbed my arm, trying to explain. "There's nothing between Bella and me. She's sick and came back for surgery." See, there are moments when words are just pale. No matter what he said, it was useless. For a moment, I almost thought he still loved me, but it was just an illusion. Some things become clear once you think about them. Why did Liam abandon me? Because he had to pick someone else up. Why did Liam lie again and again about working overtime? Because even he knew it was wrong to go without telling me. Or perhaps, I was never part of the equation to begin with. It's better to have some things out in the open. I dropped the clothes in my hand and stood up, looking directly into his eyes. "I never wanted to interfere with your relationship with Bella. You were the one who confessed to me, who proposed to me, who said you wanted to build a life with me. Liam, I'm not a fool, and I'm not someone to be hidden away. If you don't like me, you could have just said so. If there was a misunderstanding, you could have explained it to me, told me everything." I wiped away the tears streaming down my face. I didn't feel wronged. I just felt my past self was so pathetic. Liam reached for me, but I slapped his hand away. "You just took advantage of the fact that I love you. You've always known I love you. So after Bella left, you used me as the perfect backup plan out of spite, confessing, marrying me. All of it was because you knew I loved you, didn't you? And the worst part is, I loved you so damn much, Clara." That's not. I wasn't. His well-defined hands flapped uselessly in the air. The more he explained, the weaker it sounded. It was useless. It had been useless for a long time. They say you can leave once you've collected enough disappointment. I never believed it before. Now I do. You don't have to say anything else. The divorce agreement is on the dining table. Sign it. And please, let me go. I couldn't be bothered to pack the rest of my clothes. I closed the suitcase and started to drag it out. Liam's tall frame blocked my way, stubbornly stopping me. "Clara, I'm not getting a divorce. I haven't done anything to wrong you." I don't know how Liam defines wronging me, but at that moment, the man standing before me was a complete stranger, and I felt like my past self was a huge idiot. 5 years of my youth wasted on a crush, chasing after someone for 5 years and getting nothing in return. Just a pure, unadulterated fool. Liam saw me stop and thought I'd had a change of heart. He pulled a necklace from his pocket. He held it up to me like a treasure. "This is your anniversary gift. Let me put it on for you. Please forgive me." Okay. The necklace was beautiful. The clear, bright glass reminded me of his eyes when we were young. Back then, every glance felt reassuring. And now, just a complete mess. I slapped his hand away. The fragile glass fell to the floor and shattered into countless pieces, coated in a layer of dust. "You haven't done anything to wrong me. Then why were you showering and doing laundry this morning? Don't you feel dirty yourself?" I had never said anything hurtful to Liam in my entire life. I was always afraid one wrong word would make him ignore me, so I tried my best to be a perfect, gentle lady, but in reality, I used to be a free, spirited girl who laughed freely under the sun. For 5 years after we married, I was terrified people would say I wasn't good enough for the perfect Liam, so I pushed myself to get a master's degree, afraid they'd say I wasn't a good wife. I took cooking classes and ended up with hands full of burns. The motivation for all of it was my love for him, but he wasn't interested in my master's degree. He never once praised my cooking. He just silently adapted to my changes, while at the same time wanting me to remain my old self. And now, he was still using my love for him to deceive and hurt me. Why? I should have asked myself that question a long time ago, but I was afraid of getting hurt. Looking back, I feel so foolish. I hadn't discussed the divorce with my family yet, so I could only go hide at my best friend's place for a while. When my friend, Ava, heard what happened, she was so angry she started cursing. What did I tell you? You can't just throw yourself at him. Am I right or am I right? But I also thought, he's the big brother next door you grew up with. If he could take care of you so well as a kid, he probably wouldn't be too bad to you as an adult. Huh. Turns out all men are the same. That drunken confession of his. I never liked it. But it's not like I could stop you. You were so in love with him. In this day and age, finding someone you love is hard. Most people have a checklist before they even start dating. He has to be handsome, tall, rich, and so on. But when you actually meet someone, you realize none of it matters. All it takes is one look, one moment, and for years after, you hold on to the memory of that beautiful moment. Everyone wants to find someone they love, and they're willing to jump into the abyss for them. Seeing me so dejected, Ava sat down and put an arm around my shoulder. Clara, the good thing is, you've decided to walk away from it. If worst comes to worst, you can just live with me. The pent-up grievances in my heart came pouring out as tears. Then you better work hard. I'll be counting on you to support me. Get lost. I was counting on you. She talked tough, but she held me tighter. I don't know how long I cried, but by the time I stopped, the sky was already getting light. Ava went to the window, pulled back the curtains, and sneered. I don't get why he's putting on a show of devotion here now. Shouldn't he be at the hospital with his precious Bella? I held an ice pack to my eyes. Is he still there? When I came to Ava's, Liam's car had been following me. I saw him when I went upstairs. I thought he'd just stand there for an hour for show, but I didn't expect. It was the weekend, so Ava and I had a 2-day retreat at her place. Liam didn't stand downstairs the whole time. After all, he had a lot of work at the design firm, but as soon as he got off work, he would come and stand guard. He didn't even go home. The car we bought together became his safe haven, and an eyesore for me. During this time, Bella sent me a friend request on social media. Can we meet? No passive-aggressive undertones, just a simple request. When Ava saw it, she immediately took my phone. Your husband was stolen, and now you're going to go out of your way to get insulted. She wants to see you, so you have to go. If she really wants to see you, she can damn well come here. You stay put. I had no intention of seeing Bella. I had always felt insecure around her. She was prettier, smarter, but no matter how much better she was, I must have my own unique strengths. After telling myself that countless times, I finally managed to scrape together a tiny bit of confidence, especially after 5 years of marriage to Liam. No matter how beautiful Bella was, in the end, I was the one with Liam. See, I was a winner too. I could take good care of Liam, be a good wife. I am no worse than her, but it's the details you can't dwell on. Our wedding photos hung in our house. Every time I looked at them, I felt a weight on my chest, not painful, but suffocating, because Liam had insisted I wear that specific wedding dress. Clara, try on this dress for me. Back then, he was my whole world. Whatever he asked, I would do it happily. Like a puppy, the mermaid-style dress was beautiful, but it didn't suit me. On my slightly curvy figure, it looked bulky and unflattering, but Liam stared at it, captivated, as if he were seeing someone else through me. I forced an ugly smile. It doesn't look very good. Maybe I should change. No need. This one. It's beautiful. His voice was soft, full of affection. We took many photos in that dress, without any direction from the photographer. Liam's hands naturally found the perfect places to rest. Those 3 short hours felt like an eternity to me. When it came to editing the photos, Liam was enthusiastic. He went to the studio almost every day to check on the progress. Because of this, my parents thought he was very devoted to me. Only I knew how ridiculous I was back then. People in love are like moths. Only after flying into the flame do you see what little is left worth remembering from that pitiful time. While I was lost in thought, there was a knock on Ava's door. Thinking it was the delivery, I jumped up to get it. I never expected Bella to be standing outside, her face pale. I have to admit, 5 years had passed, but Bella was still as beautiful as ever. Even sickness couldn't hide her beauty. You and Ava are best friends. It was easy to find you, Bella said with a couple of coughs, looking apologetic. Can you let a sick person come in to talk? Inside, Ava and I sat on one side of the table, while Bella sat on the other, looking around. Sorry, my place is a bit small. Not much for a person of your stature to look at. Ava struck first, defending me. Bella was unfazed, smiling faintly. It's not small, it's just right. I clenched my fists under the table, then relaxed them. I summoned my courage and looked at her. What did you want to talk to me about? Do you still love Liam? At that, Ava exploded, jumping to her feet. So you did come to kick her while she's down, didn't you? Whether she loves him or he loves her, it has nothing to do with you. You're just the ex-girlfriend. What? Are you trying to get back with him now? Ava's passionate words had no effect on Bella. She maintained her gentle smile, like a porcelain doll, fragile and beautiful. I love him, but not as much as I used to. It's hard to say you don't love Liam after such a short time. The words we said, the sunsets we watched, the meals we shared, and 10 years of history can't be erased. It's just that the most painful part is stuck in my heart. I really only came back for surgery this time. I never intended to ruin your marriage. I didn't ask him to pick me up that day. Someone else called him on their own. I know this accident caused a misunderstanding between you two. I actually came today to apologize. Bella gently took my hand. I'm sorry, Clara. I never wanted to hurt you. I always thought of you as a little sister. It's just that you never used to look up at me. No matter how much I teased you, you wouldn't talk to me. Just watch me from a distance. Having my secret revealed made me feel awkward. I tried to pull my hand away, but she held it tightly. I really did like Liam in high school. I never hid that. But when he suggested we go to the same university and started planning our future together, I hesitated. I was scared. I was afraid of being tied down to one person, of my whole life being defined by him. I hadn't even seen the world yet, and I was supposed to plan a vague future with a man. It was ridiculous, so I left. Bella spoke like a wise older sister, sharing her thoughts. I started to look into her eyes. They were bright, as if they held the stars and the sea. It was the first time I had ever looked her directly in the eye. It was so warm. In high school, Liam was the untouchable god in every girl's heart. They praised him to the heavens. But look, he's not a good husband. He couldn't even take care of you, someone he grew up with. So, Clara, I hope you can be the master of your marriage, not its slave. Don't feel sorry for him standing down there. 5 years is different from 2 days. After saying all this, Bella stood up. She was still weak from the surgery, supporting herself with one hand on the table, the other on her abdomen. As she took a step, I called out to her. The red mark on Liam's collar, that was my blood, not lipstick. I just gave him a hug. I've been abroad for a long time. You know, I hugged everyone who came to pick me up, men and women. Please don't misunderstand. Bella patted my hand and left. I let out a huge sigh of relief, the weight on my chest finally. Clara, hearing Ava's tearful voice, I looked over. That fool was blubbering, snot and tears everywhere. Bella is so amazing. If I were a guy, I'd love her too. Even as a woman, I love her. I rolled my eyes and ignored her. I went to the window and lifted a corner of the curtain. I could still vaguely see Liam's stubborn figure. The misunderstanding was gone. But should this absurd marriage continue? Before I was married, I hoped for a handsome boyfriend who would be attentive to my needs. Someone who would take care of me when I was sick. Someone who would comfort me when I was down. Or let me comfort him. Someone I could laugh with when I was happy, with endless things to talk about. Back then, Liam fit that image perfectly, so I loved him without reservation, grabbing every chance to be with him. But after we were together, he wasn't what I had imagined. But as Bella said, he was once a good person to date, a gentle big brother next door, just not a good husband. He had just graduated then, his mind consumed by blueprints. He was, at best, polite to me, and I responded to his politeness with a torrent of passion. I don't know what a marriage should be like, but it's definitely not what I experienced for the past 5 years. When Liam saw me come downstairs, he ran over, his face lit with surprise. Clara, 5 years had passed. Liam was no longer the boy from my memories. From late nights at work, he now had dark circles under his eyes, his face etched with an undeniable weariness, and I was no longer the person I used to be. Life and marriage had turned us into familiar strangers. We needed to have a serious talk. The night air was cool. Liam had finally learned how to be considerate. He took off his jacket, about to drape it over me. I took a step back, avoiding it. Liam, I've been thinking these past 2 days. When did you realize I liked you? Was it in middle school? Or even earlier? You're so smart. You couldn't have missed my clumsy attempts. At first, you probably thought having a little follower was nice. Just like in the storybooks, the big brother next door who doted on me, letting me live in a fantasy. But then Bella appeared. She stunned everyone. And she made you, who was content with an ordinary life, want to fight for your youth, to love fiercely just once. So you relegated me to the role of a sister. But you never expected Bella to break up with you. After the breakup, you felt resentful. How could a great guy like you get dumped? So you remembered me, the perfect replacement. No, Clara, I didn't. I never. A man who once aced his literature classes now offered explanations that were painfully weak. If life is already this tiring, then a marriage that makes both people even more tired has no reason to exist. Even if Bella hadn't come back, I would have said, let's get a divorce. This wasn't a spur of the moment decision just because you went to see her. That was a bit childish, I admit, but it was the catalyst. Plus, our married life has been too suffocating. It's crushed me, but I brought this on myself. Clara, I really haven't done anything to wrong you. I just went to see Bella. After all, regret or resentment? I didn't want to dig into that question anymore. After all, you once liked her. I understand that feeling. That's why I came down. I took off the ring on my finger. I want to see the bigger world. Tears fell from Liam's eyes. Seeing them still pained me, but I wouldn't wipe them away for him anymore. Can't you give me another chance? I'll change the things I did wrong. I'll cook. I'll do the housework. Okay, please don't divorce me. Okay. Liam had never been so humble. The spine that was once so straight was now bent. It hurt to see, but I didn't want to feel that hurt anymore. Liam, you're too tired. You don't have to make yourself even more tired. I pressed the ring into his palm. When you put this ring on my finger, I was overjoyed. So I never told you. It's too big. Liam's tears flowed freely. He gripped my hand tightly. I'm not tired. I want to build a good life with you. That's why I've been working so hard, trying to give you a better life. But you never told me. Just like with Bella's return and her surgery, you could have told me, but you stripped me of my right to know, thinking it was for my own good. But you were hurting me in the process. The rain was so heavy that day, and I was so cold. I managed to pull my hand away and turn to leave. I was angry at myself for being like a puppet for 5 years. When Liam said he wanted to be with me, I agreed. When he said he wanted to get married, I agreed. I always put myself in a subordinate position, living 5 suffocating years of marriage with his tacit approval. He said he was over Bella, but how many times in these 5 years did he drift off, thinking of her? He said he never wronged me, but I was still abandoned without a second thought, left to go home alone. He said he would cook and clean in the future, but those things are not the necessary reasons for a marriage to continue. I used to think that marrying the person I loved would be the most wonderful thing in the world, but in reality, to my surprise, when I told my parents about the divorce, they didn't object. My mother seemed relieved. I haven't seen you smile much in these 5 years. A divorce might be good for you. My daughter is so wonderful. You'll have your pick of great men. My father didn't say anything, but he cooked me a table full of my favorite dishes. Suddenly, I felt so light. I no longer had to worry about what I was doing wrong, who I might be upsetting. I just had to think about my own happiness. It felt really good, so I brought a fruit basket and went to the hospital to see Bella. When I got there, she was battling it out on her phone in a mobile game. Go, you idiot. What are you doing? You're the support. Flash, flash, what are you saving it for? Damn it. Her cursing left me stunned at the door. I never thought such words could come from such a beautiful person. When Bella's peripheral vision caught me, she remembered to put on her ladylike facade, primly smoothing the hair on both sides of her face. These unintelligent non-humans, they really make a girl mad. I suddenly regretted not becoming friends with her sooner, but it wasn't too late. I don't know how the game ended, but she put down her phone. Before talking to me, she tapped it once, muttering something. She was still as radiant as she was in high school. I was momentarily captivated. Hee, little Clara, that look in your eyes is a bit suspicious. Someone might think you're trying to hit on me. The thought has crossed my mind. Bella roared with laughter. See, I appeal to everyone. Too bad I just want to be free and single for the rest of my life. I want to be free and single too. I quit the stable government job I had worked so hard for. I wanted to give myself some time to see the world. Bella was taken aback for a moment. Then she stroked my hair. As long as you figured it out for yourself. I've been to many places. Want me to draw you a map? I didn't take Bella's map. I just followed my whims, going wherever I felt like. My first stop was the vast grasslands, without the skyscrapers. My hair was blown about freely by the wind. I chased the sun on horseback for a while, but eventually, I found myself walking leisurely across the endless plains. I used to think that catching the sun meant getting the best, but actually, the feeling of just moving forward, step by step, is pretty good too. My second stop was Yunnan. I didn't go to the crowded tourist spots, but to a random village. There, I listened to the village elders tell the fascinating stories of their lives in a dialect I could barely understand, ate freshly picked wild mushrooms, and saw beautiful colored rice paddy art. Stop after stop, the sadness and pain from my marriage seemed to drift away with the wind. It still hurt a little to think about, but not as much. It was still a bit of a shock to run into Liam when I got back. When we divorced, I promised not to delete him on social media, that we could still be friends, so we would still message and like each other's posts. Every photo I posted from my travels had his like and a comment. He would also share his daily life with me, the food he cooked. I never replied. I met an interesting person on my travels. His name was Noah, a photographer. We met on the grasslands. I was struggling with an uncooperative horse, and I don't know what it was about me that caught his eye. He started taking pictures of me. The photos were beautiful. I loved them. He didn't seem to have a destination either. He found out where I was going and followed along. One casual moment, while we were eating hot pot, he suddenly said, "I really like you." Being confessed to usually just makes one flustered, not happy. Haha, I like you too. You're so handsome. After all, Noah was very handsome. With his long hair, he had an air of mystery. His mature demeanor was also very captivating. Like him? Of course I did. I'm serious. I like you. I want to be with you. Maybe even marry you. The word, marry, set off alarm bells in my head. Don't be like that. You don't believe me. Noah was always sincere, and he liked to look people in the eye when he spoke. After being under his gaze for a while, even I started to feel shy, even though we've only known each other for a few days. You're very attractive to me. I can't help but want to capture these beautiful moments with my camera. I laughed softly, but no matter how beautiful, it's just a moment. What's kept in the heart is what's forever. Noah wasn't disappointed, just sighed. Can we still be friends? Of course. When we parted, he gave me a gift, a craft paper envelope containing the freedom I had given myself. I loved this gift. I thought I would be indifferent when I saw Liam again, but my heart still fluttered when I saw him. My cheerful steps slowed down. I knew you were coming back today, so I came to pick you up. He was holding a bouquet of my favorite flowers, hyacinths. I took them and mumbled a thank you. In his car, I kept my eyes closed the whole time, pretending to be asleep to avoid awkwardness. At one point, I felt him drape a jacket over me. This perfectly timed gesture of care was what I had always wanted, but only received after we were divorced. Liam took me to a barbecue restaurant, one we used to go to as kids. He didn't ask me what I wanted, but ordered a table full of my favorite things, even mixing my favorite dipping sauce for me. So, he had always known my preferences. During the meal, Noah sent me a message. "Are you home yet? Miss me? I miss you, my friend." Noah was more lively than Liam. He was a bit like an Energizer bunny in his words and actions. He didn't seem to care about my subtle rejections. He was just being playful. His childish side made me feel like the young girl I once was had turned into a jaded woman. I couldn't even be moved by a handsome guy's antics anymore. "Is that a friend?" Liam's sudden question startled me. I didn't try to hide it. "Someone I met on my travels. He's pretty interesting." "A guy or a girl?" His subconscious question created an awkward silence. "That's none of your business." After a long pause, he started another topic. "Like a friend, he took me to eat good food and shared funny stories, but I couldn't laugh. I just replied with noncommittal, hms. When we were parting, he asked, "You probably haven't found a job yet, right? Do you want me to recommend a few?" I used to go to him for everything. Later, I couldn't find him for anything. "No need, I've already found one." My words made him stiffen. "You used to be like a child. You couldn't do anything right." He sighed deeply. "When did you grow up?" I wasn't incapable of growing up. I just wanted to get your attention. I used to rely on him, wanting him to notice me more. And now, I didn't answer that question. I just waved and went home. Now, I don't care anymore. This, friends, mode continued for 3 years. I didn't have a boyfriend, and he didn't have a girlfriend. Every time I went home, I could see the unspoken, "Why don't you just remarry him?" in my mother's eyes. Thankfully, my father's resistance provided me with cover. Liam did act like a model husband for these 3 years, but I was afraid of change. The thought of remarrying him brought back bad memories. I was afraid of being home alone again, waiting for his infrequent texts, afraid of becoming that person again. After being single for so long, I longed for a relationship, but I was also afraid of it. Afraid of having the habits I had finally formed be changed. Afraid of having my life's rhythm disrupted. Besides Liam, other men had confessed their feelings for me in these 3 years, including Noah, whom I met on my travels. At first, he was full of enthusiasm, surprising me with grand gestures, but gradually, the messages in our chat became less frequent. Haha, and, lol, became our usual mode of conversation. I wasn't disappointed. I just felt that this was the natural course of human relationships. Even the most passionate fire will eventually burn out. A love built on hormones is worthless. My hesitation gave Liam an opportunity. On my birthday, he knelt on one knee again, holding a bouquet of flowers. Clara, I admit I didn't do well in the past. I'll change. I will never let you down again. Please give me one more chance. Okay. Liam had changed, but the exhaustion on his face remained. In these 3 years, he rarely smiled when we were together. Most of the time, he was trying his best to please me. No matter how tired he was, he would come pick me up, bring me flowers, and take me to eat good food. I used to be the enthusiastic one. Now it was his turn. He once asked me when he was drunk if I had ever truly liked him. I didn't say anything, just smiled, smiling at my feelings being questioned, smiling at how foolish I used to be. He said I was getting revenge on him. I didn't deny it. Watching him do all the things I once did to please him did feel satisfying. I didn't think it was cruel. It was just a matter of one person being willing to give and the other to take. The man proposing to me again was no different from 8 years ago, but through his dark circles, I could imagine that if I remarried him in my current conflicted state, our life would still be one of exhaustion. That's not right. Marriage should elevate your life, not make both people tired. I'm sorry. This time, Liam didn't ask me why. A bitter expression crossed his face. He stood there, lost, clutching the small ring. It wasn't the original one. It was probably my size, but none of that mattered anymore. After leaving, I didn't go home. I just walked aimlessly through the streets. I had walked this road countless times. As a child, holding my parents' hands, they held me tight, afraid I would get lost. Later, I tried to hold Liam's hand but never dared to get close, so I just clasped my own hands behind my back, pretending we were together. In high school, his hand was finally not swinging freely in the wind. He held Bella's hand, a happy expression on his face as they strolled down the street, while I watched from behind, jealous and envious. After we were married, walking this road again, I still didn't get to hold his hand. I just linked my arm through his, like a normal couple, pretending to be happy, absorbing that fleeting warmth. I thought that was good enough, until today, walking this road by myself again, I discovered that even without anyone holding it, my palm still has warmth. You can still see beautiful scenery when you walk alone. You can stop and rest whenever you're tired. My mind was buzzing. I couldn't help but send Bella a message. Liam proposed to me again, but I rejected him. I didn't do anything wrong, did I? After sending it, I didn't feel anxious. As the breeze brushed against my face, I felt a sweetness in the air. It was intoxicating. My phone vibrated. I opened it and saw Bella's reply. What could you have done wrong? It's your life to choose. Now get online. I'll carry you. Bella was still as free, spirited as ever. I envied her. The frustration from rejecting Liam vanished. I ran happily down the street, not caring if people stared. At that moment, I suddenly felt that none of it, love, mattered anymore. My own happiness is the most important thing. Life should be this free, this happy. I was so foolish before.